Hi guys, it's your boy Humble here bringing you a brand new upload, and in today's video we're going to be going over the absolute best keybinds for beginners on keyboard and mouse 2021 version. Okay, I'm going to be going over resolution, sensitivity, all of my settings, everything you guys can imagine in this video. Just please make sure you guys go on to watch the entire thing, as I will have important tips throughout the entire video. Also guys, please consider dropping a subscription with notifications on, man. Only about 10% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel, and I really would appreciate it, as I'm on a road to 100,000 subs, and doing YouTube full time is obviously my dream. But without further ado, let me get into some really important tips before I actually showcase all of the binds. All right guys, so the most important thing that I want to preface for this video is that you have to fully buy in and trust that I know what I'm talking about, and I think I proved that through my gameplay, which I will show some clips on screen really quick. If you guys want top tier piece control, top tier fast editing, these binds can accomplish all of that for you with really hard work. You have to put in so much time with any set of binds. I just want you guys to know that if you do put in time with these, they will get you there in the end. These binds are fully capable of all that stuff you guys are watching on YouTube and want to try to accomplish yourself, obviously with hard work. Now you also could be terrible with these binds or any other binds. It all depends on you, but these binds are capable of all of that stuff you were seeing. My main point here guys is just patience. It's going to take a few months, not a few weeks, and you guys have to be prepared for that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get into the key binds now. If you have any further questions after this video is done, just make sure you check me out on Twitch. Link is in the description, and I will answer any individual questions live on stream. But yeah, let's get into these keybind settings and sensitivity. Let's go, baby. Let's get it. And now getting into all of my updating settings, keybinds, resolution, sensitivity, all that stuff for 2021. Let's go, baby. So my resolution is 1440 by 900. I highly recommend this res, or any res like it. It's going to lower your input delay a lot, and I'll be making a full video comprehensively on that resolution, going over like the input delay methods and all that another time. So just make sure you drop a sub for that if you don't want to miss it. My frame rate limit is at 144. Also recommend limiting your frames. It's something your PC can consistently hold. It's not worth going up to like unlimited here or 240 FPS when your PC cannot hold that consistently, right? You're going to be getting a ton of tears and input delay. Don't do that. My brightness is at 50. This is just preference, right? Deuteranope 7 is my colorblind. Really like the way Deuteranope looks. I feel like I can just see through zone good in game. It's just nice. Also guys, I usually play on performance mode now, but I'm in DirectX 11 just because I was recording a creative video. Highly recommend performance mode if you guys can swing it, man. It's going to improve your input delay a ton. I'm just not in it right now. But if you guys don't want to do that, just make sure you have all these things on low, which I'm sure a lot of you already know. Getting into the next section of the actual game settings, we go down right away. You guys can look at this stuff real quick, but the most important thing here by far is going to be the building section. So number one, reset building choice. You're going to want to have this on 100%. So good. This basically means whenever you pull your builds back out, it's not going to go to whatever you last had out. It's just going to reset to whatever building option you want, which is very good. It's going to make you a little bit faster with your building, especially if you get shot out like mid-game. Disable pre-edit option. I don't know if you guys all know this, but you can actually disable pre-edits now. Turn that on 100% of the time. Love that. Turbo building on. That's a given. Confirm edit on release, man. I highly recommend confirm edit on release. So good. Some people are still iffy about it, or they struggle with it at first, get discouraged, and then don't use it. Guys, I promise you, if you put a couple weeks on edit on release, you'll be a faster editor. There's literally no doubt about it. It's 100%. And then this stuff obviously doesn't really matter. You can just look at that if you want. Getting right into HUD options, you guys can see my HUD scaling here is at 75, which is just something that I like. Once again, this is totally a preference thing, and then you can just look at the other settings if you want, but it should all be the same for you guys. Now getting into some juicy stuff, we got my mouse and keyboard sense, which I'm rocking a new sensitivity for my X, my Y, my targeting, and scope, and I'll explain why right now. So as you guys can see, I'm on 7.2%, 7.2%. Keep in mind, I have 800 DPI, okay? A lot of people always ask, 800 DPI is what I'm matching with this in my Logitech software. So I'm 800 DPI, 7.2%, 7.2%, then 60/60 scoped in targeting sensitivities. Now guys, the reason I have lowered my sensitivity down to this over time, which is something that I've recommended you guys do before, your aim is going to get significantly better the lower your aim goes. And if you find a good balance like I have, which is just this is good for me, right? 7.2, 7.2, you are going to be able to build and edit like you just saw in the preview to this video, just like I was showing earlier, with ease, and still be able to hit the majority of your shots in arena. I love the sensitivity for balance, man. Obviously, I'm going to skip over controller settings here, and sound settings don't matter really. I just have all this off for the sake of the video. But now getting into the juiciest part of this video, what a lot of you guys that are beginners or switching to keyboard and mouse are super interested in. This is actually going to be the overview of my binds and why I use what I use. So here we go. I use WASD movement, right? That's kind of a given. Most of you guys, I'm sure, on WASD, just recommend that. Spacebar for jump, auto run for 6, crouch left control. None of that out of the ordinary. You can look at that, but yeah, nothing there is super important. Now getting into my combat, my fire is left, target is right. That should be normal for you guys too. R is reload, which I really like. E for use. Harvesting tool. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting. I use the middle mouse button. Click down on my mouse button, right? Like literally tapping down on it, not scroll wheel, but actually tapping down on the scroll wheel brings out my pickaxe. Then I use weapon slot 1, mouse wheel up on my scroll, like flicking up on my scroll with my pointer finger. Now this is to pull out my shotgun. I always have shotgun in first slot, and I always use it right on my scroll wheel. It's just super easy to get to. Don't really have to think about it. Definitely a good bind for beginners as well, because when you're a beginner, it's hard to, pick out which weapon you're using, especially if they're on your keyboard. So it's really nice having it on your scroll wheel since it's your shotgun, your win condition, most important gun. Definitely recommend that. Then for weapon slot 2, my SMG, I use Q, which is right next to W. So it's very easy to click right next to W for SMG swapping after your shotgun swap or AR swapping, whatever loadout you're rocking. And then now for weapon slot 3, I use 3. So now I'm using buttons 3, 4, and 5 for my back weapon slots. 5 is heals, 4 is rotation or double heals or utility. 3 is my AR actually, which is a little harder to reach. I have to reach up above W with my pointer finger, my left pointer, to click that, but it's not that important, right? If I have 3 weapons, I'm not gonna be using an AR close range, so this is only for longer range scenarios, which, you don't have to be super fast or super dexterity wise to like get to that in a clutch situation. It's not that important, but yeah, 3 for my AR. Now getting into building, we have my really nice build binds, man. I have very good build bind movement, so I will be going over that right now and what's important about it. Number 1, guys, you guys want to focus on the wall here. You can see I have a thumb mouse button for my wall, and then I have another thumb mouse button for my stairs. So I use double mouse build binds for my stairs and walls, which is very important because I can keep my fingers on the WASD keys while I'm building because of this. So my thumb, this is the one top of my mouse button. This would be closer to the front of your mouse, basically, is my wall, okay? So I use that for walls, and then the bottom part of my thumb, right? I click it with like the base of my thumb kind of, is stairs. So just my thumb clicks both of those binds. Now getting into my floor, I use C. Now this is something that a lot of people have asked about before that I'll clear up now. C, I actually click with my pointer finger, which a lot of people wonder about because as you can see on here, which I'll get to in a second, I build with F. And if you guys have a keyboard in front of you, you can picture this. Basically, I have to switch between F for editing and then C with my pointer finger for F and C. So when I build floors and then switch back to editing, it's pretty difficult to flip-flop that. I would recommend you try to click C for your floors with your thumb if you can, but I don't do that. I click it with my pointer finger. So just so you guys know, you can click C with your pointer finger. This is very asked about these binds once you guys actually start using them. And then I use left shift for my roofs or cones, which is my left pinky finger, which is very nice. It's the only thing my pinky does. You don't want to have a lot of stress on your pinky for obvious reasons. Not a very strong finger. It's pretty kind of just over on the side, but it is good to have a building bind on it because otherwise your pinky's doing nothing, right? So left shift, I have cone, okay? Boom. Traps, T, okay? Now the traps aren't super important, now they're like bouncers and stuff, but I use T for it. It's kind of a, decent bind for traps, I would say, for sure. Kind of a generic bind. Place build is left mouse button, nothing unique about that. And now we get down into my change build material, which is just right click mouse. And then building edit, I have scroll wheel set up, obviously. Scroll wheel reset. I use single edit bind F. Single edit bind F. Edit on release like we talked about earlier. Guys, that is all you need. Don't worry about double edit binds, triple edit binds. Most of you guys are never going to use that in your life. It's pointless, it's over the top. Use single edit bind F or E. Some people use E, but F I think is the best bind for editing. Edit on release. Make sure you have it on. Make sure you guys set up your scroll wheel settings like this. Mouse wheel down here. Just look at this real quick. Select edit build, left mouse button. All that's generic, but I'm sure a lot of you guys know how to set up scroll wheel. But if you do scroll wheel with building edit F, edit on release, you will be able to edit like me if you put in the time, right? You have to be working like months to be able to be really good with any binds. That's why I recommend you guys really wait for the long term and work with these binds because they're very good binds. Like these binds aren't going to steer you wrong if you work hard. It'll give you what you put in basically. So don't worry about that stuff. Really trust the process with these binds. Now you guys can see all this stuff is kind of just preference. So I'll just scroll through it and hold for a second. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's actually important with these binds and settings. That's all I'm going to leave you with here. I went over everything pretty well. I think I covered it all. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it for these 2021 keybinds for beginners video. Make sure you drop a sub if you did enjoy with the notifications on. I will be streaming also in the mornings on Twitch, so link is in the description to that if you want to check it out. But without further ado, it's your boy Outcast Humble, and I will see y'all on the next video. Peace.